All right, where do I start with calories and intermittent fasting? Let me put it this way. I'm not saying they don't work. I'm not saying that they aren't effective. What I am saying is if you have long-term goals, if you want to master this weight, if you want to master your health, stop looking at it short term and start looking at this in terms of years. The guys who talk about calories in, calories out, yo-yo dieting, I call it yo-yo dieting. They call it going from a calorie deficit to a maintenance. I say maintenance is bullshit because you're fighting against age, stress, toxins, and life and everything else that you impose upon yourself on a day-to-day basis. And if you are maintaining, you are actually regressing. This is a universal law. If you maintain something, it actually goes down in value. If you hold on to cash, it goes down in value because of inflation. The same thing goes with your health. The same thing goes with your calories. All these things that ultimately leads to regression in health, regression in energy, and regression in your results. Calories in, calories out is a very oversimplistic way of looking at nutrition. It removes the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids that make up proteins that are actually healthy and beneficial for not only your brain, your gut, but your muscles and your metabolism. It takes away the types of fats that actually are anti-inflammatory and help to actually fuel your body, as opposed to fats that are very detrimental and very pro-inflammatory and stress your body out. It removes the concept of the type of carbohydrates that may actually be lower glycemic loading, which means that it just basically doesn't spike up blood sugar as fast versus simple sugars that spike up blood sugar very fast and then make you crash really fast, right? So there's a difference in the micronutrients that make up these calories. And then let's go even further than that and go into a more deeper root cause of things. What actually helps you to retain this energy that you're actually eating, that you're taking in? And that's the most important piece to all of this, that calories in, calories out, the calorie deficit equation does not take into account your ability to retain information, to retain energy. And the same thing with intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is a tool. It is not a way of living. You can't maintain intermittent fasting lifelong if you're a high performer, somebody who demands more of themselves than others around them, who has a business to run, who has a family to support, who has to take into account physical activity to maintain their health and their physique, right? You need to implement these things if you want long-term results. You need to go for a walk at least. You need to get outside. You need to do some form of physical training in some way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's hunting every day or you're going out and doing push-ups or squats or you're going into strength training. You need to implement some physical activity, right? And if you're doing intermittent fasting, it is going to cause long-term negative results because there's always a tax for all these things that we do. There's always a hormonal tax, a nutrition tax, an energy tax from doing too much intermittent fasting, focusing too much on just calories. Because now you start to take away from the equation the quality of the fuel, the quality of calories that you're taking in. Intermittent fasting is great intermittently because it helps to let your digestion or your gut to recover. It helps to, especially in a pinch when you're traveling or just want to take a day off and you don't have to focus on food, so it reduces stress. It kicks in other survival mechanisms within the body, but if you're constantly in survival mode every single day, it's going to cause an elevation in cortisol, which causes a reduction in leptin secretion, which is a hormone that is very tied to your circadian rhythm, which impacts your sleep, which impacts your ability to manage and effectively burn fat, which is the ultimate goal here, right? To eliminate body fat. All these things have a tax that nobody talks about. Nobody seems to address or connect the dots to. And so I'm here to bring a point that the calorie equation, the calorie deficit diet is a myth because it doesn't equate to the long-term goal. Do you want to struggle with weight loss your whole life? Or do you want to focus on transforming your body, transforming your mind, transforming yourself into an individual who has mastered their body and has everything lined up? Because in order to master something, you can't be thinking about 20,000 different things. You just need to focus on 3 things that are going to move the entire needle, right? If you're running a business and you want it to scale your business, you can't focus on the 20,000 things that it takes for your business to actually run successfully. You need to implement systems, operations, and people to be able to handle those other things. And our bodies are naturally equipped with all those systems and operations when we take care of the foundational things. If you do a calorie deficit diet and you're not properly hydrated, calories ain't going to matter because your metabolism is going to be wrecked, and your ability to get rid of toxins, which stress out the body and bog the system down and lower your energy, which lowers your willpower, which lowers your ability to be compliant to a diet in the first place, ultimately gets suppressed. And then you crash, and then you go off the diet and you return back to your old norm, right? These things are just all in place, and there's different tiers or different levels of what's going to affect your weight loss long term. And if we focus on things that are at the top of the totem pole, and we got a really sandy foundation below, that totem pole is going to fall and collapse. We need to address the things at the very bottom, the base, that are ultimately going to allow for the signal and for the transmission and energy to translate up and naturally take care of the rest. What I mean by that is intermittent fasting and calorie deficits are at the top of the totem pole. They're tools, they're mechanisms, there's things in place that are definitely useful at times. But when you start to take care of the foundational things, so hydration, meal timing, and what you eat, and then also light toxicity and light exposure. These are things that we don't talk about that are coming to the forefront that we need to understand. For example, blue light exposure from the very screen that you're watching me on, from the artificial light that is in your room, has been shown to elevate blood sugar by as much as the equivalent to eating a cheesecake every single hour, waking hour of the day. So if you're exposed to blue light from the morning till night, it's like you having cheesecake every single hour. That's not going to lead to weight loss. It's affecting your hormones. It's affecting your body's ability to manage blood sugar effectively through light. And we think that we're just completely separated from it. Not true. Calorie deficit diets. These things are temporary. They stress your body out, and what happens is your body preserves the fat, just like it's going into winter time, holds on to the fat for long-term survival, and gets rid of the muscle, because your muscle is a savings account for your health. It's not a thing to look good. It's ultimately a savings account to hold in nutrients, to hold in protein, to break down in the case of a fasted state or a prolonged fasted state or a state where you're not getting enough energy to survive. That's a calorie deficit diet, by the way. It's enough you're creating a deficit to say, hey, lower my metabolism because I am not getting enough food to survive at my current state. Then what's happening is your muscle mass goes down, so your metabolism goes down, and then you go back to an old norm and your metabolism is lower and you're eating more. So guess what happens? The calorie equation comes into account in a negative way, and you end up gaining weight back in the weight that you lost because you lost muscle, not fat. Body weight is a misconception here, where if you're 250 pounds and you lose 30 pounds and you're 220 pounds, feeling great, you're looking great, you got your goal, well, take your body composition, you're going to realize that you lost more muscle mass than you did fat mass. And then what happens is when you increase your caloric load, then you end up gaining more body fat because you have less muscle and your metabolism slowed down. This is yo-yo dieting. Intermittent fasting does the same thing, because people do intermittent fasting to create a calorie deficit. People do intermittent fasting for too long, and it causes a cortisol spike and an imbalance of hormones that ultimately leads your body to not even acknowledging that it has excess body fat to burn. That's a whole nother segment that I can go into in another video. But understand that there's other factors at play that ultimately drive your appetite. Calories in, calories out is all, let's just call it what it is. If you eat too much, you are going to gain weight. If your appetite is fucked up, you're going to eat too much and you're going to gain weight. If we can recalibrate your appetite naturally to where you don't have to think about how much you need to be eating or when you need to be eating, because it is synced up and linked up to your day when you wake up to when you go to bed, and now you feel naturally full and satiated throughout the day, and your energy is awesome, it's on point, it's elevated, you don't feel a crash midday, you don't feel like you're dragging your ass in the morning, and you don't feel like you're just going to completely knock out, or you feel completely spiked and elevated when you should be going to bed. These are dysfunctions. The appetite, your circadian rhythm, which I'm describing right here, your natural timing of hormones and energy throughout the day and night, these things are out of whack. Calories are not going to address that, and intermittent fasting is not going to address that. The foundations of things are going to address that. Your meal timing, what you eat, hydration, and light exposure, and lack thereof. is going to signal your body to ultimately balance out the appetite, which takes care of what you need to eat and how much you need to eat. It takes care of the timing of meals. What I'm equating here is calories in, calories out is automatically taken care of when you focus on your meal timing or your balancing of the appetite and circadian rhythm, which just involves eating right and eating at the right times. And then I would add the hydration and your light exposure as other factors that ultimately combine to giving you the weight results that you want, the weight optimization that you want. And what's happening at the same time, which is really cool, is you're doing the opposite of what a calorie deficit diet does. Instead of dropping muscle mass, you're maintaining and building muscle mass because you're eating in a way that makes you anabolic. It makes you growth orientated. There's a different 500 calories of a donut is different than 500 calories of a steak, right? There's a whole different hormonal mechanism in place. There's a whole different metabolic mechanism in place that either makes you lean and jacked and energized, or if you eat a dozen donuts or 500 calories of donuts, that's going to leave you spiked with energy for 30 minutes, and then you're going to crash and you're going to be dead ass tired, right? There's different metabolic sequences, different metabolic reactions from what you eat. There's different metabolic reactions from the light that you get exposed to. There's different metabolic reactions from how much and how often and how you hydrate. It's not just drinking water. It's actually what's in the water. It's the timing of all that. That's a whole nother video in and of itself too. But these things play a role in your overall results. And if you want to automize the process, it truly is automized. You can systematically implement this in your life to where you don't have to count calories, you don't have to look up a MyFitnessPal, you don't have to have a Fitbit to be able to track your sleep, you don't have to have a counter to say, oh, you're getting this much activity in, because you automate the processes. Your foundation at that totem pole of getting your results is rock fucking solid. It's solidified, it's cemented. So you can go as high as you want. You can go as tall as you want in terms of your goals and aspirations in health and in life, because everything is affected by your health. You know that if you're watching this. When you enhance those bottom foundational things, then we get into cooler, more deeper dives into other mechanisms such as like therapeutic supplementation, micronutrient dosage, things that can enhance your energy, your mental factories, your ability to burn more fat, enhancing sleep, enhancing sex drive, enhancing mood. All these different things can be enhanced when you get the foundations down. Calorie deficits and intermittent fasting is just a very shiny object that gets people's attention and says that it's the solution to your goals. It is the quick fix. It's the magic pill. It's the thing that's going to get you your results. And I'm here to tell you that it's a short-term gain, long-term loss, because there's always a tax tied to these things, because they're not the foundations that drive metabolism, that drive your energy, that drive your overall health. If you lose weight holistically, it means that your body is getting rid of stress and it is retaining energy at a better rate. When you gain weight, it means that you're becoming inflamed. Your body is chemically stressed, so it has to store it into the body fat, and you're also losing energy at a faster rate. To take it into a common knowledge of dollars and cents, right? Your expenses when you're overweight are overwhelmingly exceeding your income. So you're draining your expense account, and the income coming in is just being dispersed out. You're not able to hold on to that money. You're not able to hold on to that energy when you eat it, when you utilize it, when you drink it. But when you become leaner holistically and you start losing body fat and speeding up your metabolism, you retain that energy more. What you are eating, you're actually retaining energy. And this means that your body signals to you saying, hey, we're good. We don't need to eat right now because I got energy still. We still got excess energy that we can still utilize and burn off of. And then it translates into neurochemicals, neurotransmitters like dopamine that create more drive and energy, which then allow you to have more willpower to then push through the day, achieve more, and get your workout in, and play with your kids, and do your thing at night with your wife. All these things are interconnected, right? Like they're all interconnected. It is not separated whatsoever. I hope I got this point across, because this is something that you go across 99% of Google, 99% of any nutrition coach, 99% of any personal trainer out there. They're going to tell you the calorie in, calorie out equation is the way to go. It's so damn simple. Just get X amount of calories of beef jerky, take this amount of carbohydrates and then take this amount of fat and you're good. You're golden. Just follow that plan. How sustainable really is that? It's not. It's not sustainable. And as I said, there's always a tax to this. You're burning muscle. And as a man, you need to hold on to that muscle. As a woman, if you're watching this, you need to hold on to that muscle. That is going to build up your health savings account. And we all know if you have an emergency fund, you are going to be better equipped in the case of an emergency. People with more muscle mass, this is a statistic that you can look up in Google. People with more muscle mass survive diseases more. They have a higher rate of survival when it comes to cancer, when it comes to burns, like severe life-threatening burns, surgeries, and any other disease. The more muscle mass you have, the more likely you are to survive a life-threatening situation. Let that be an example of how important muscle really is in the retainment of that muscle. And what you eat and when you eat and how you eat ultimately influence your body's capability to hold on to that muscle. Intermittent fasting has a place, but it shouldn't be done every single day. It causes hormonal stress, and that will lead to long-term loss, regression in your results, and then the frustration, and then distrust with yourself in the whole field of fitness and nutrition, because you don't know what the hell to do anymore. Because you tried this, it worked, and then it didn't work. What the hell happened? I don't know what's going on, right? You need to get down to the root causes. That's why. And that's really my mission in life, is like to just bypass all the bullshit out there. Let's get clear on what really moves the needle. And I spent my career figuring out what moves the true needle in this. And that is really what drives permanent results. That's what changes your image of yourself up there, because now you can actually taste it, see it, feel it, experience it, and know that you are changing from the inside out. Truly transformational. That's empowering. That changes the generations ahead of you, the kids that look up to you, the people that follow you start looking at you differently, and they want to know what you're doing. And it's your way of being, it's your way of thinking, it's your way of acting consistently, because it is a part of you now. You're literally just focusing on a few things that take care of all the other factors. That's how you simplify weight loss. That's why I think calories are a myth. That's why I think the intermittent fasting is something that is not good long term. And ultimately, to get the results that you want, both in the short term and the long term, you need to focus on meal timing, what you eat, light exposure, and hydration as your foundations. Then from there, you can get into more advanced things. But if you don't get those 4 things down, you're going to be working against the current, swimming against the current, and you're going to burn out eventually. Calories is a false life support, or a false, what do they call them? The floating devices. Lifesaver, right? Life jacket. It's a life jacket that's going to just pull you downstream and right back to where you wanted to go again. Intermittent fasting, same thing. It's going to do the same thing because it's not addressing the root causes. Hopefully this helps. Went on a little bit of a tangent, but hopefully I made it clear. This is something that I'll lead you with. I'll end it with this. If you get anything out of this, review the video again. Watch this video again and view it from this point of view. I love this story that I heard about Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was arguably one of the best martial artists ever. Kung Fu master. And in his heyday, he used to have martial artists reach out to him and say, hey, I want to pick up what you're putting down. I want to get your knowledge so that I can get to the level I know I can get to. And from time to time, he would bring people into his studio and say, show me what you got. They would show him what they got going on, and afterwards he would sit them down at a table and he would put a empty cup in front of them and a cup of water in front of himself. And in that empty cup, he would fill in front of them a can of Coke. He would just pour the Coke into the glass, and he'd say, these 2 glasses, the glass in front of you with this Coke represents your truth, your knowledge, what you have in your head. And this cup of water represents my knowledge, my truth, and what is the ultimate truth, because you want what I have. But the truth is that I can't pour my knowledge into your cup, into your mind, because your cup is already full. Until you're willing to empty that cup and give up the beliefs and knowledge that you think you have obtained, the truth that you hold Until you're willing to give that up, I cannot fill up your cup with my knowledge because you're already full of yours. And this is often what holds guys back, people back in general, is the unwillingness or the unawareness of the truth that they have and that they've been holding on to, both consciously and unconsciously, ultimately leads to the results that we have in life. That is the fact. We have to be willing to give up the truths and beliefs that we have gathered over a lifetime and learn from somebody, learn from a truth, really, a consciousness that provides a different alternative belief and an outcome that you desire. I've gained this knowledge from looking and searching for coaches who have done things at the level that I want to do it at and have gotten results by doing things differently. Because I've looked at the narrative of nutrition, health, and fitness, and it just didn't make sense to me. Why so many people failed on a calorie deficit diet? Why so many people struggle with intermittent fasting after 3 months of doing it? Because it's so great at first. It's such a dopamine hit. It feels great and it produces results, but they don't realize that they're dropping muscle, not body fat. They're dropping muscle, the thing that maintains your furnace and your metabolism. They're dropping that. They're not losing fat. This is causing false positives in people, and it leads to long-term frustrations because they don't get the results that they want long-term. It works for a little bit, and then the results plateau. They stop. Why? Well, review this video from the eyes of emptying that cup and filling it up with what I just gave you. And you'll start to understand and connect the dots about what true holistic hormone optimization is about, what holistic weight optimization is about. This is what really changes the body. This is what really changes your life, is approaching it from the inside out. It's a way of not only what you do, but how you do things. It's a philosophy on top of application. Hopefully this makes sense. And I'll say this, if you want to find out more about how to personalize and take on holistic hormone optimization at a level that you can really master this, I have a program called Metabolic Mastery. I'll leave the link in the description below. You can take a look at it. I'll show you the results that I've proven with my clients, testimonials, all sorts of stuff. And if it vibes with you, you can go ahead and click the link to schedule a call if you want to take it a step further and talk more about a personalized plan. But all that being said, I just gave you the keys to the foundations of what you need to do. So you got to run with that. And if you have more questions, that link is going to lead you to more answers. That's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was of value. Let me know how and what you got out of this Let me know what you got out of this and if it really was valuable for you. I'm hoping to really make an impact and change the way people think, because you deserve results. The effort and work that you put in should equate or provide overwhelmingly exceeding results for you. If you do things right, things become effortless. And that's the ultimate goal. Health is abundance. Health is joy. Health is wealth. And that's what I want for everybody. Hopefully this gave you a little bit more of that, and I'll see you on the next video.